It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth a hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the Science Bowl. Today, one of the penultimate games. Yes, the second of two semifinal games. Today's winner will be playing Martin Luther King for this year's championship, and this is our 37th year of competition. We expect a wonderful game today. We started with 16 middle schools. We're down now almost to the final two. Let's meet today's teams. First, from Benjamin Tasker Middle School, would you say hello to Luther Yumby, Samir Kumar, and Jackie Johnson. And from Robert Goddard Montessori, please welcome to the program Nathaniel Parker Feng, Ella Childress, and Mason Vosmick. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, our game board reflects question difficulty with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. We never deduct any points for incorrect answers. And to the two rounds today, one of these two very talented, good-looking teams will come back to play Martin Luther King for this year's Middle School Science Bowl Championship. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly before we start. Red team, Samir, would you try your buzzer? Looks and sounds A-OK to me. Good luck to you, to Luther, and to Jackie. And Ella, how about the green teams? Also seems to be in good working order. Good luck to you, to Mason, and to Nathaniel. And congratulations to all of you for making it this far in the competition. You guys are elite players, and I know we're going to have a wonderful game here today. We go alphabetically. That's our habit. B before R, so Benjamin Tasker. Samir, let's play the bowl. Go.
Let's get physical for 20, please.
Again, please.
Let's get physical for 20, please.
Let's get physical for 20 teams. The first question of the game is, you know, when a star is sucked into a black hole, it is ripped apart by gravitational forces, and then the black hole burps out a burst of this substance, the fourth state of matter.
Plasma.
Tasker.
Plasma.
Plasma is correct. Yes, sir. Go. You choose, Samir.
Body systems 20.
Body systems are 20 points. All right, teams. If your red blood cells are bent and have a difficult time getting through blood vessels like capillaries, it causes great pain and organ damage. This condition is known as what disease? Yes, Benjamin Tasker.
Sickle cell. Sickle cell?
Sickle cell, absolutely right. Sickle cell anemia afflicts African Americans and Africans more so than any other demographic. Go red.
Science Potpourri for 20, please.
Potpourri for 20 points. All right, teams. 3-part answer. You've probably never heard of a man by the name of Larry Tesler. He died recently. He was a computer genius. He was the one who came up with the method, the 3-part method, of taking something from one place on the computer and putting it somewhere else. What 3-step process is that? What you got? Tasker.
To receive, process, and store data?
Nope. You're moving something from one place to another. 3-step process. Larry Tesler came up with that. A computer genius, recently passed away. What do you do?
Do you encode the file, transport it, and then decode it?
You copy, cut, and paste. Copy, cut, and paste. Go red.
Okay.
Go, Samir.
They didn't get it. Dateline Let's get physical for 25, please.
Physical for 25 points, teams. Boy, it was a heart-rending scene. There was that elephant in India, had fallen into a dry well, couldn't get out. All of the Indians in the village came, they kept pouring water in, and finally there was enough water up near the top that the elephant could get himself out. So the Indians used what famous Greeks? Samir? Which one to tell me?
Who said Eureka?
Go ahead. Robert Goddard. What famous Greek's principle was used to get that elephant from the bottom of that well up to the place where he could get out by filling it with water?
Is it Archimedes?
Archimedes is right. Good. Green, go.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, Will Smith recently starred in a movie called let's see, what was the name of that movie? Oh, Spies in Disguise. And he was one of these birds. Robert Goddard.
Pigeon.
He was a
Many
pigeon,
pigeons.
yeah, often preceded by carrier and stool. Good, go.
Zoo
Green.
Parade for 10.
Again?
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, Benjamin Franklin, the great American, said of this bird, it is a vile scavenger with bad morals. Benjamin Tasker. What you got, Samir?
Go ahead. Crow.
No, not a crow. Robert Goddard. Benjamin Franklin said of this bird, it is a vile scavenger, it is of bad morals, and it does not hunt for its own fish, and it can oftentimes be chased away by sparrows.
Vulture?
Is it vulture?
The bald eagle. The bald eagle. He was the big fan of the turkey as being the national bird, but it was the bald eagle that he had no use for. What did that bald eagle ever do to him? Yeah. Go Green.
Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. All right, teams, this is a visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio, if you would. In the movie, the animated movie Zootopia, the singer Shakira played a gazelle. Yes, sir? Which one? Tell me.
The gazelle. Okay, the other person played a fox.
Yeah, there was a fox in there. There was a bunny in there. Let me finish for Robert Goddard. Shakira played a singer. It was a gazelle, just like you're seeing there. Well, gazelles and impalas and elands and the pronghorn animal that we have here in America all belong to what a initial group of bovines.
Antelopes?
Antelopes, that's it, good. An example of an antelope. Go Green.
Zoo Parade for 20.
Zoo Parade for 20. All right, teams. Your question is as follows. Lions are the only cats that you could consider to be gregarious. Why? Ella, why are lions gregarious? The only cats that are so.
They live in groups.
They live in groups, absolutely right. Oh, no other cats live in groups, but they form prides. Helps them to hunt better. The buzzer is rung. We've come to the end of the first round, and our score is, it's close. Benjamin Tasker is at 90. Robert Goddard is at 115, and we'll be back with round 2 in 1 moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to this second semifinal match as we get close to the end of this year's competition on Science Bowl for the middle schools, and we have a close game. We're going to take a little break here from asking questions, and we'll talk to the teams, but let me first tell you what we have for our winners just for being here today. Our runner-up today is going to be taking home, each player will have a bronze medal inscribed with Science Bowl on the back and the year of competition. Our thanks, our recognition for the hard work that they have put in and for their accomplishment. In the finale, our winner today, our champion, will take home a gold medal, and all the players on the runner-up team will have silver medals. We also have Audubon field guides for our winners, and also we have a plaque that will go with the winning team, again, showing the world back at their schools that they were they triumphed in the 2019-2020 middle school competition. Let's find out about our teams. Tasker, Samir, tell us about Benjamin Tasker. You know, you guys almost weren't in this competition. I talked to your coach, and she came aboard, and she didn't realize what she had created. You guys are amazing. Tell me how you get ready for this, Samir.
So every Thursday we just have a meeting where we discuss what we learned and what we studied, and we just quiz each other and assign each other topics. Each of us has assigned topics. Like Jackie, she'll be doing body systems and zoo parade.
That's exactly right. Kind of divide it up so you have someone with different strengths. That's very smart. Who's the coach of your team, Samir?
Dr. Freeman.
Dr. Freeman. She's out there. She has worked so hard. Eris, thank you for all that you did and for persevering and getting here today. This is amazing. Benjamin Tasker, the last time you won the county championship was 19 years ago. So it is time for you to repeat here. Tell us who your principal is, Samir.
Dr. Hill.
Wonderful. I know she's out there rooting for you. Any alternates on your team?
Yes.
Who you got?
Joshua Winger.
Wonderful. Bring the alternates out here in just a few moments' time. Something about your school, Samir, that you want to tell everybody about because you think it's great.
So our school's statistics are actually pretty good. When you look at it, our MISA scores are the highest in the county currently.
Wow, congratulations.
And our park scores from 2019 were higher than any other year we had.
Wow. And I know the MISA science tests now count in terms of the star rating for all of the schools, so I know how important they are this year. I know you guys are going to do a tremendous job on that. Tell me about yourself, Samir. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a theoretical particle physicist.
Yeah. Now that goes along with, what else did you tell me before you wanted to do?
Before I said I wanted to be a neurosurgeon.
Neurosurgeon. All right, a particle physicist. Where did that come from?
I was inspired by J. Robert Oppenheimer, the man who created the nuclear bomb and head of the Manhattan Project.
Absolutely right. A wonderful role model. We were lucky to have him. He made a big difference in the war effort. Thanks for sharing that. What do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I play tennis, and my favorite subject is math, so sometimes I look into that.
That's great. Well, you're an outstanding young man, and you're doing a nice job here today. You keep it up. Jackie, nice to have you with us today. You're a musician, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about the instruments you play.
So currently I'm learning guitar and piano, and I'm way better at the violin than both of those because I've been doing it longer. So, and I
Where
also.
does your musical talent come from? Is it in your family?
Yes, like every single person in my family sings.
So you are your own little orchestra there.
Even my dog.
That's great. Would you like to be a professional musician someday?
I'm thinking about it, but I want to do more into like the STEM field.
Yes, that's wonderful. Well, yeah, STEM is, it took a long time to come to the realization that STEM should have been acknowledged all the time because science doesn't exist by itself. It's technology, engineering, math, and put the A in there, the arts, and you got the STEAM, and life is interconnected that way. Thanks for sharing that. And Luther, you want to be a pastor someday, yeah? Are you an orator? Do you like speaking?
Yes, I am an orator.
You are an orator. What do you talk about when you speak?
I've made, in the past when I was in oratory in 6th grade, I believe, I had made my own speech and I performed that. But usually we do historical speeches. We might do ensembles or just solos. So I've done that.
That's great. I recommend to you something that just started in our school system last year called Project Soapbox. And I know Samuel Ogle participated this year, and you get to speak for 2 minutes on any subject you want, and it's juried. People grade you on that, and boy, it's a great opportunity. And then you can go on and compete at a different level too. Thanks for sharing. What do you do in your spare time?
I do a lot of things actually. I practice my soccer, play my violin, just like Jackie. I might study some days, or I write.
Excellent. Well, you've got it all going on. You're an academic, you're a scholar, you're an athlete, and you're a musician. Nice to have you here, young man. Robert Goddard, nice to have you here. And Ella is here, and she told me earlier, and I loved it. When I asked her, I said, what do you want to do someday? Well, I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to let her tell you. What do you want to do someday, Ella?
Well, someday I might take Mr. Z's job and host the Science Bowl myself.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. My mother's name was Ella, so Ella's little boy may give his baton one day to Ella Childress. Ella, thanks for indulging me on that. tell us about Robert Goddard. Who's your principal?
Our principal is Miss Womack.
Wonderful, and I know how much she cares and supports this team here. And the coach of your team?
We have two coaches. We have Miss Powell and Miss Dupre, both of whom are here
They
today.
will be out in a few moments, and I know how hard they work to get you guys ready for this here today. Any alternates on your team?
We have two alternates, Grayson Huff and Braden Coverly.
Wonderful. We'll bring them out. And they are an integral part of this team. I know they practice as hard as all of you guys did here. Something special about Robert Goddard Montessori. Share it with us.
Well, Robert Goddard Montessori is a small school, so each student can get really the attention they need to learn. And also we're a Montessori school, so the classes are really interactive. We don't just sit and stare at a screen. We do small group work. We do a lot of activities. We get to walk around the classroom.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell us about the shirts. You've got matching shirts on there. What do they say?
Okay, they say RGMS Rockets
That's
and our names.
Very nice, very nice. And Nathaniel did a nice little trick over there. They misspelled his name, but he was able to make it so it looks like it was done correctly from the get-go. Ella, if you don't become a game show host, what's plan B?
Something in the STEM field. I'm not quite sure what yet.
That's great. I love your spirit, and I like having you here today. Nathaniel, tell us your story. You know an awful lot about science. How do you know that?
Well, I've just been like studying on and off. Like I just get some science books. A lot. Like when I was 7, I used to read a lot about stars, and that's how I got interested about science.
How many times have you been on Science Bowl?
This will be my 3rd year.
3rd year, I know.
Not in a
We've
row.
watched you grow up here, and you're such a great player. And Mason, you've been with us for a number of years too.
Yeah, I think I was
you
alternate
too
before.
know an awful lot about science. Tell us, this young man has a whole list of potential careers. I don't know how he's going to choose. Share some of them with us, Mason.
Could be a chef or a paleontologist or a zoologist or I don't even remember all
You
of
got
the
so many.
options
You
off the top
got
of
so
my
many
head.
ologies in there. You can't remember them all. So you're a chef. Do you have a specialty?
No, not yet.
Do you bake?
I don't really bake. I like meat more than pastries.
I see. Had you baked maybe a dozen chocolate chip cookies, you know, it would have helped you today. Just kidding. All right, let's get back to the game. Robert Goddard 115, Benjamin Tasker 90. We're ready for the second part of our game here today, and the last correct answer came from Ella, so Ella, start us out, please.
Zoo Parade for 25.
Zoo Parade for 25. The big one in that category is a visual question. Teams, look at the monitor, please, in the studio. A lot of trout fishermen like to use this as bait. This is a stage in the development of a dragonfly. Ella?
Is it a dragonfly nymph?
It is indeed a nymph. Good. I was about to say it is gradual metamorphosis. It is not a larva, but it is what N initial stage in that insect's development. Nicely done, Mason. Go.
Dateline Science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, the Food and Drug Administration has finally come up with a medication to treat allergies of this legume.
Peanuts.
Samir.
Peanut.
Peanuts, yeah. People who suffer from peanut allergies now have a medication that does seem to work. Very good news. Go red. Good answer, Samir.
Can we get science potpourri for 25, please?
Potpourri for 25. Big one in that category. Teams, if you're doing a science fair experiment, I know you've done them all, you have to make sure that there is just one changeable element. Samir?
Okay. So there's only one manipulative variable.
That's what I want to hear. Variable is the key word. Good. Go. Red.
Body systems for 25, please.
Body systems for 25 points. All right, teams. In the new Pixar movie Onward, there are 2 elf brothers that use magic to try to bring back their dead father for one day. The magic doesn't work, and all they get is his legs. They're missing what T initialed. Benjamin Tasker.
Torso.
Torso. The torso was missing. We also would have taken thorax or trunk there. Go red. We've got a game here. Our score, Robert Goddard 140, Benjamin Tasker 145. All right, teams. With that, we go back to Samir.
Let's get physical for 15, please?
Let's get physical for 15. You may indeed. Teams, a lot of chemical symbols on the periodic table have the same initials as postal abbreviations for states, like AL is Alabama and also aluminum, CO is Colorado and also cobalt, and MN is Samir.
Minnesota.
More.
MN is Minnesota State.
No, Robert Goddard. Samir was helping you out there. MN is Minnesota. What is MN chemically?
Manganese.
Manganese. That's what I want to hear. Good. Go green.
Dateline.
Dateline science for 10.
Again, please.
Dateline for 10.
Dateline science for 10 points. Teams, this is very encouraging news. Some scientists now think that snake venom could be a treatment for this personality-robbing disease. Robert Goddard.
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's. Yes, indeed. Good. Go. Green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline science for 15 points. Back in 1952, the Nobel Prize in Medicine went to a scientist who discovered streptomycin. Streptomycin, like penicillin, is a kind of what? Tasker.
Antibiotic.
You got that right. Thank you, Jackie, for your help. It is an antibiotic. Good. Go red.
Can we get green things for 25, please?
Green things for 25 points. All right, teams, it is an answer. You have to give the answer and you have to spell it. If you are a gardener and you're growing vegetables or fruits or flowers, you know a lot about botany, but you also know a lot about this H-initialed science. What is it? And spell it. 25 points, Samir.
Hydrology.
Not hydrology, good try. What H-initialed science is something that is well known by people who are gardeners.
Herbology, and Mason will spell.
What's the word?
Herbology.
No, the correct answer was horticulture. 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 No points. We're still at 165 to 160. Advantage red.
Do what?
Yes, sir.
Can we get body systems for 15, please?
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, you know, your body's cardiovascular system is not connected in any direct way to your body's gastrointestinal tract. Still, it is said that the way to a man's heart is through his tasker.
Stomach.
Stomach. Good. Go.
What's next? 15. Can we get science potpourri for 15, please?
Potpourri for 15 points. You know, a long time ago, they were known as apothecaries. In Britain today, they are known as druggists. But if you have a prescription, you go, Samir,
Pharmacist.
to a pharmacist. That's right. Go red.
Can we get green things for 15, please?
Green things, 15 points. Teams, the newest rage is aeroponic vertical gardening, which means you don't need a lot of water, you don't need heavy equipment to harvest the crops, and like hydroponic farming, you don't need any what? Tasker?
Water.
No, I said, not that. Robert Goddard, aeroponic vertical farming, all the rage. You need very little water, you don't need heavy equipment to harvest the crop, and like hydroponic gardening, you don't need any what?
Soil.
Soil. Good. Go. Green.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points. Teams, we all saw it. It was shocking. There was that St. Louis Blues hockey player collapsed on the side of the rink. Heart had stopped. They used CPR, and then they used one of these to get his heart working again. Robert Goddard.
Defibrillator?
Defibrillator. That's what I wanted. Here. Good. Green.
Dateline for 25.
Dateline for 25 points. Teams, NASA says that in the year 2069, 100 years after the first landing on the moon, they are going to send a mission to this nearest... Yes, Robert Goddard.
Is it Mars?
Not Mars. Benjamin Tasker. They're going to send a message in 2069 to this nearest group of stars other than the sun. The initials of this group of stars, AC.
The Centaurs.
Again?
The Centaurs.
What's the first word? What is he saying? Go ahead.
Andrea Centauri.
Not Andrea Centauri. Good try. Had we already gone to Robert Goddard? Yes. All right. So the correct answer there was Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri. Go again, please. Green. You have a 10-point lead.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, if you are a cryobiologist, you're not shedding tears. But like Elsa and Anna, you are, Samir,
you're studying snow and animals that have to do with the cold, really cold animals, ice.
Yes, ice. We will accept that. Frozen. Good. Go red.
Okay, green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. All right, teams. In China, they discovered something on their rice paddies called foolish rice seedling, where the seedling gets extraordinarily tall, too tall to make any meaningful grains. It's caused by GA, gibberellic acid, which is what kind of chemical? The same kind of chemical we have in our bodies, like adrenaline. Samir?
Hormone.
Hormone, yes, sir. Good. Go red.
Let's get physical for 10, please?
Again?
Let's get physical for 10,
Let's
please.
get physical for 10 points. All right, teams. The reason why rescue dogs at earthquake sites are better than humans is because they have a great sense of smell and they have a low center of what? Goddard?
Gravity.
Gravity. Yes, ma'am. Good. Go.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, medical schools are going digital. So now when they, instead of giving medical students a cadaver to do this to, they do it with 3D reality.
Is it dissection?
Dissection it is. Yes, it is. Good. Go.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Kids hate this vegetable, even though Popeye, Samir.
Spinach.
Spinach is right. Yes, indeed. Gave him those weird forearms. Go. Red.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. All right, teams. You've been to Science Bowl before. You know how it works. You're no longer wet behind. Samir?
You're no longer leg behind.
Robert Goddard, since you have experience playing Science Bowl, no one would ever say you are still wet behind the what?
Ear.
Ears. That's right. Go green. Yes, go Ella.
Let's get physical for 5.
Physical for 5 points. Teams, since there is no casein protein on the moon, it means there's 0% of what dairy product. Yes, Ella.
Cheese.
Cheese. We used to think the moon was made of cheese. It is right. That buzzer says, our game is over. I don't know if we can breathe yet. We'll be right back with a wrap-up. Don't go away. We were saying we could finally breathe again. This was a nail-biter. We expected this. These are elite students and went back and forth and back and forth. They are all winners, and that's why they're here in the semifinals. Our final tally today is Benjamin Tasker, 220, Robert Goddard, 235. Congratulations to Nathaniel, Ella, and Mason, and their alternates back there, Braden and Grayson, Miss Powell, Mr. Supre, excuse me. Congratulations. We're going to see you in the final against Martin Luther King. Let's have a round of applause for that Robert Goddard team. And Benjamin Tasker, you came back, you started slow, but boy, did you come out well. We're really proud of you guys, Jackie and Samir and Luther and Joshua and Dr. Freeman. Thank you again for getting involved in this. You better come back next year because I know the kind of talent you've got over there at Tasker. Let's have a round of applause for that Benjamin Tasker team. So it is set. Robert Goddard, Martin Luther King, who will be this year's champion? We'll determine that next time. I hope to see you next time. I'm Dave Zarin. Until then, bye-bye.